As he says, HR's in the room. TMI. That is correct. Let's see here. This is going to our official World War II Online Facebook page, YouTube, Twitch, and our Steam store front. So we got four different sites that we're streaming this to. The recordings will be, well, the live streams will be saved on those, on some of the platforms, specifically YouTube and Facebook. So you could always go there and rewatch um, the uh, the recording of the Rat Chat. Um, no, I think you're fine. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, we got you. I miss Mickey Mouse. Let let me on audio coming through on the live stream. Okay. Okay. Let me check that real quick. Right. That's what I'm checking out here. Just a second here. Okay, let's see if that works.
Okay, we are reaching the point where we do need to get going, and just for the benefit of these folks here, it's time for us to go. So real quick, if you are presenting something like corn, for example, try to get that ready. So when we call on you, it's fairly snappy, and I'll be doing that relatively soon, just so you know. Okay, well, hopefully our audio issues are resolved and you guys can hear me better. Sorry about the delay. Every time we run one of these rat chats, we have people showing up later, and we do appreciate you being on time. We'll aim to do a little bit better next round, but we have quite a bit of good information for you today. These rat chats are designed to help brief you on our current status of progress and help share special announcements, things that have not yet been discussed. And of course, we want to take this opportunity to answer some of your questions. Just to kind of get this moving in the right direction, I wanted to first address our current roadmap and overall plan. If you haven't looked at our roadmap and seen what's going on for the first quarter of 2023, which is on its way to being concluded effective April 1st, or really March 31st, is all about trying to get completed the last items that we can for World War II Online, our current version, and so that we can then make our switch over to the porting of World War II Online to the Unreal Engine. And that is the next primary focus for our internal development. What that means is our development resources, both production as well as our developers, our programmers, will be putting their primary focus over there. What do you mean? I'm sorry. I just saw a comment that suggested I'm quiet. Can you hear me okay?
Nope, you're fine, Zoom. You're fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify before I continue. So, this is a monumental thing. I want to effectively convey by voice to you guys that what we're about to do is it's risky, it's challenging, and it's significant, but it's critical for us to start working towards the innovation of World War II Online. We've been for years now working on our current game, trying every idea that we possibly can to help improve it, ranging from the implementation of new vehicles. In fact, we spent a good year and a half or two like that as our primary focus. We've done and will continue where we can to fix existing problems that are plaguing the user experience. We've made the game 64-bit for the longevity and general support for software. We've recently introduced integrated voice communications, which will forever change World War II Online for the better. We have taken a step back, recognizing that we have had some supply issues with high command being able to manage it. Too few have been responsible for too much for way too long. And so we've brought back garrison supply, and that's a constant, series of tweaking and massaging to try and get things right. So that's a demonstration of us not only trying new things, but also recognizing we have this whole other history behind us. We've been around for so long that there are some things we did a little bit better. And so how do we take the best of both worlds, present day, past, and where do we need to go? So in that, in pursuit of all that, that transition now to Unreal is completely and obvious that that's what we need to do. The game itself, we've been in game engine maintenance since the day I took over. In fact, not so long ago, most of the developments that we were able to make between now and then were not even foreseeable, not even possible, not even comprehensible. So the fact that we've been able to do what we have done, and we've seen the development and growth of so many internal people, it puts us in a position now to have a really good understanding of where our software is at, which, for those of you that don't know, this is the second iteration of CRS, and what we got was a functional project with not a lot of documentation. You've heard this before if you've been around long enough, but it's important to help set the stage for what it is and where we're going. So as we start to make this big cut over to Unreal, you will see development slow down on the current version. And generally speaking, the player base is supportive of this. And beyond that, from a business point of view and staying viable in the market, especially right now when there's a bit of a tumultuous market, if you've been paying attention to any of our competitor games, it's kind of a bizarre time right now for World War II, the World War II genre in gaming. There's some crazy stuff going on. So here we are with this 21-year-old plus project, and we have the foundation for tremendous success. The scale of what it is that we do is remaining unmatched to today. And so as we aim to move into Unreal, we will continue to provide supplemental production items in the form of improved artwork. And through that process, we'll be fixing issues. And then also we'll be seeing several updates taking place in World War II Online Choke Point, because the infantry model of Choke Point is what's planned to be the future version of World War II Online's infantry model. So we have to nail that right. We've got to do a good job there. So you're going to see a slowdown with regards to actual development things taking place on 1.0, and we're going to keep you appraised very closely as we begin our porting, which we're going to need maximum grace on that, because we're putting a lot of stress and pressure and concern and frankly work on a mostly volunteer team. We're going to talk more about how we're going to try and make this successful, and we'll take it from there. What I want to do now is I want to introduce to you our community manager, and now is not the time, by the way, to ask questions, so please wait for any invitations to speak. We're just going to go through a series of things for you. Our community manager is Tech64. He's a longtime player of the game, and he's been community manager now for over a couple years. I'd like to just invite him to speak, share anything with you really quick. And then from there, we are going to go to Korn, who's our production team lead, and he's going to share a couple of things that are currently slated for implementation to World War II Online. Tex, go ahead.
Thank you, Zoom. And I just want to say thank you to all of our team members who are joining, because I know that we run a pretty hectic pace here on our volunteer team, but also really appreciate all of you guys today who are in attendance. We would not be where we are at as a game and as a community without your continued support and enthusiasm. I don't think it gets said enough. I want you guys to kind of soak that in, but we wouldn't be here without you guys. And that means not only from the enthusiasm, but also the financial support. And truthfully, when Zoom is talking about the slowdown of the development, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be other things that are coming online through production, whether those continue to be audio tweaks or different features and things. Not going to go into too much of that. I don't want to. That's not going to steal anybody's thunder. But the game will still continue to be new enhancements, and so don't lose faith and respect to that. But any time that you have a subscription or you have a colleague who wants to be interested in our project, that money directly goes into our development efforts. It doesn't get sidetracked to anything else. It goes directly to making our dreams, your dreams, the community's dreams happen. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We've said from the outset that World War II Online, we're calling it the legacy version at this point, as we make this cut to porting into 2.0, making that a thing, is going to receive continuous updates in the form primarily of, again, new vehicle implementation and refacing, as well as fixing potentially existing issues. That is going to remain. So when we talk about, hey, what about this new da-da-da-da-da? Probably not. If those are your questions upcoming, I would be expected to get very minimalistic responses on those. Not because they're not good ideas or not because we don't want to implement them, but simply because we're not going to be expending the energy to develop new vehicles or a lot of crazy new implementations. By definition of our mostly volunteer remote-based team, and the weight of the responsibility involved with this multi-year effort to make 2.0 a thing, which is critical for longevity, it just is incompatible. We've already done now for the better part since 2016, which was truly the formation of CRS 2.0. We've done so many different things to try and make it viable that at this point, we just need to go, okay, we've done what we can. We have to move over here. And we'll talk more about that and be happy to answer some of your questions going forward on that. Corn, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. If you don't mind, please take away the chat, say hello, introduce yourself, what you do for the team, and then talk about and show what you're going to be doing, please.
Well, my name is Corn. I am the production lead, contributor as well. We've got some cool stuff coming into the next release. I'm not going to go over all of it today, but at least give you guys an overview of a couple of the cool things. Here, let me get my screen shared. All right, you guys got that?
We do, and for you guys watching, you can see his name up there on the speakers. Just click his little screen there, and it will blow it up.
Now, for any of you bomber pilots out there, don't hate on me. I'm not a bomber pilot, so I'm not going to go through the full run on it. But one of the things that we have going into this update are bomber loadouts. Now, this loadouts will eventually be on much more vehicles than just the bombers, but right now this is the first early implementation of it. Let me change the bomber position. So you can see in this loadout right now, I've got 4 250 kilogram bombs. I can cycle it over, and there's my 16 SC50s. I'm in the HE-111, by the way. This one's got 3 different loadouts with it. I'm just going to go make a quick drop with them, and then I'll show you guys the other loadouts that come with this bird. But right now, this is only going to be on the heavy bombers. This will be migrating over to the other aircraft, like I said, and other vehicles in the future. But at least for now, this is what you guys are going to be getting. So HE-111s are definitely going to be a little bit more devastating, obviously. Show you guys the other loadouts that are in this guy. But it's really cool because it's going to give a lot more versatility to players and just add a little bit more funness to the gameplay, because who doesn't like to have more options?
So, Corn, Jamie G just asked a good question, because for some of you that have been around a bit, you've seen this before. His question is, when the bomb loadout was introduced and removed a few years ago, what was the problem that needed fixing?
The problem that needed fixing was when there were large strings of bombs being dropped, specifically with the SC-50 being able to carry multiple bombs. It was basically bringing computers to their knees because of the calculations that had to take place. It just required some refinement and tightening up of the system, and there were a few other issues that had to be addressed that we've cleared up as well. Without going into the full detail of everything, it was performance-related issues, which is why it was pulled in the first place. And just show you what this aircraft does have with it. So this is the initial loadout that everyone currently has in the game right now, the 8 SC-250s. Your second loadout is going to be the 4 SC-250s plus 16 SC-50s. And loadout 3, this was the one that would have, prior when it was released, would have caused the massive hit on player systems, which obviously isn't a good experience for everybody to have. So that was the reason why it was pulled before, so it's not going to be crippling people's gameplay. We do believe that this is addressed pretty well now, so it's going to be exciting to see this come out. The loadouts that are in the other aircraft, you guys will have to wait until that information comes out to you guys. I don't want to spoil everything. So we've got that guy. In fact, let me because we've also got some other cool additions that go in. So with some of the loadouts that are available, in fact, let me just show you guys in another client that I've already got up. With some of the loadouts that are available, SC500 will be in use quite a bit more now. So it needed to have a new effect to balance it all out. This one is the new SC500.
Corn, we can't see that particular screen.
Oh, no, you can't. That's right. I have to share this one too. Hang on.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. There we go. One second. All right, there we go. You guys see this? Walking around with a rifle?
Yep, we got it.
All right, perfect. So now I'm using my developer commands, so cheating this one for you to show you guys. Here, this is the SC500. We'll drop him again. So more dirt, more ejecta, a little bit bigger boom. Definitely a different explosion sound.
Dude, that is freaking badass.
Yeah, it's my favorite. In fact, I tend to drop these on M. Whitman quite a bit, and he doesn't even have to be looking anymore, and he knows what I just dropped. So that's pretty cool. That's coming in. And speaking of effects, we also there was an issue in the last alpha or the last release that went out. People were complaining about engine fires on the vehicles. Ignore some of these graphic anomalies. I've been changing drivers around. But people were complaining about the engine fires being a little hokey, and I saw the reports and looked into it, and yeah, it was kind of hokey. The vehicles were still cruising around with a big column of smoke ripping off of them. So the first thing I've done is I've adjusted how that column of smoke looks.
Are you sharing a screen at all? Because I don't see anything.
I'm about to.
Okay.
But the column of smoke got changed in the effect. And also there was an issue with the engine fire kicking on, and still people were driving around with this big column of smoke going out. Not ideal. So that's been addressed now. So what I'm going to show you guys is first the effect.
While he's doing that, I just want to convey that these sort of effects that you're seeing is, that's part of the ongoing production type stuff that I'm talking about, that Tex was trying to reference as well, that we're going to continue to make optimizations where possible to ensure that we keep World War II Online, getting some form of development as well. So what Corn has been doing is making the game far more immersive, both visually and with audio as well. And it's hopefully you've been in game recently to experience that. There's a lot more on the way.
There is a lot more on the way. And thanks for covering that, Zoom. So as you guys can see, the column of smoke is nowhere near as screaming tall as it was. The smoke from the fuel fire absolutely is, because that one's fairly catastrophic. But what I'm going to do now is just show you guys what happens when I kill the engine while I'm driving now. I have no locomotion. I am coasting to a stop. That is a dead engine. So hopefully things like that are going to improve the player experience. We have a number of fixes that are going into this next release. We did listen to you guys. We were paying attention and tracking. I can't say, unfortunately, that we hit everything, but we did get a large number of them. We are still addressing the ones that are still outstanding. We've also got a bunch of new features and functionality coming into this release as well. And happy day for everybody else. Other than you guys that are listening right now, I'm not going to go into those details because I'm going to let that come out in time. No spoiler alert here anyways. But that's where we're at on production without giving out too many secrets and details. Does anyone have any questions on that? Oh, and there's also new grenade visual effects as well. Those got beefed up so that it looks a lot nastier.
We're going to hold these questions, I think, in queue for you, unless Zoom, you want them to address them now.
The one from Stockeye, let me just hit that one. The whole idea behind a dead engine smoking so much is because there's extreme and simple dead engines, right? Like it's just dead and maybe not smoking at all. But this being war and combat caused damage, we're going on the assumption that, the engine does have oil in it. There is plastic wrap going around all the wiring and different insulating materials and whatnot. And when those things do burn, you generally are going to get a fair amount of smoke. So it makes more sense to denote that there is a small fire under the hood, something's burning, it's definitely a dead engine, and it also provides feedback for the players who caused that. So it's a give and take on that, but it makes more sense. And yes, the tinnitus sound, the ringing, was reduced considerably, so it shouldn't be quite as bad, but it's still there.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. We're going to have some more things to share with you real quick, and we'll continue to answer your questions as best we can. So I'm going to now share with you a couple of roadmap deliveries that are currently in progress on alpha. So give me a second to share my screen. Let me know if that's live and you guys can see it.
Yep, we got it.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that we talked about is the re-implementation of squad-based missions in World War II Online. How many of you are interested in seeing squad missions coming back? Because, for years we were asked for quite a bit, a lot of time to get this back. So how many of you guys in squads really want to see this back in the game? Anyways, I see more people are trying to click it. All right. So right now we are currently in a test-based squad, 88th Gebirgsjäger with old Zeke. He's on the server right now. He's unable to connect to Discord. So look, squad missions are back. We have a parameter, and this is in testing right now, and this is slated for the next upcoming release. The last time we had squad missions was probably 15 plus years ago, guys. 15 plus years ago. So the baseline parameter is this. You need 5 people online in your squad all at the same time, and you get 1 squad mission. And that's exactly how we outlined it on the roadmap. So when you go to make your mission, so I'm already part of this garrison. I'm on Allied. You can see I'm going to select my origin, my destination, and right here it says squad only. See that checkbox right there? This only shows up if you've met the parameters that we set, which is, again, 5 people online simultaneously, and you only get 1 squad mission. And then so if you hit create, oh, I don't. Okay, somebody logged out. But it actually, damn it, that does work. It just means right now one of our guys logged out. I love it when that happens. That's why we normally do things in a controlled environment. But it does work. I tested it earlier. This is what you will normally see. So, and that's why I have only 4 online and I said 5. So that means it's following the rules. Anyways, so that is squad missions. You only get 1. And the reason we decided to do that was we wanted more people to be online. We want squads to grow. We want to give you an incentive to say, hey, if you want this mission, you need to build your squad. And squad building in World War II Online is the foundation of the success of the game, not just you and your fun, which is critical. You guys are the reason we're here, but bigger squads in World War II Online is essential. And the only reason we have it so you can only have one squad mission is so that when this is normally populated, this is a test server, we want new people entering the game to still have a fighting chance to find another mission. If everybody had unlimited squad missions, we would make it a very unwelcoming environment, which was part of our risk and concern. We were trying to mitigate that risk. And so that's why we elected to do the parameters in this way. All right, I'm going to try and use my in-game voice to talk to Zeke 1 second. I can't recruit you, Bly. Not enough rank. So what we're going to do next here, and we're doing this live, as you can see, is we're going to have a couple of our other folks join us real quick. Tex, if you don't mind maybe answering a couple questions to buy us some time while we sort this out, I would appreciate that.
No, I'm working it.
If you can do it by voice too, that'd be great, because the people who are not in Discord have no idea what's going on.
Okay, so if you want to see the full screen, what you want to do is you'll see up on the stage Zoom is speaking and showing his screen. Click on the background of it, that's on his icon that says Zoom. When you click on it, left click, you'll expand the view. Now, as my understanding is regarding the squad missions, those will still be the squad missions. So to answer someone else's I think it's Worklick who was saying, and then I think Timber was also asking, that would be where your second account would be ready to, at the mission screen, would be able to create a mission for the player base. Because at that point in time, you're open, or that you would communicate with others. And really, the squad missions allows you to set up things if you have some critical missions, you have critical supply issues, But the whole idea behind the squad mission is also to advance the overall gameplay for the entire community. Regarding the bomb loadouts, those are going to come out at the same time as the Wellington. There's not going to be a disparity. So the reason why we've held the loadouts are until there is a parity in regards to heavy bomber loads, heavy bomber plane platforms for the Axis and the Ju-88, which is already here, and with the Wellington. And so when the Wellington comes online, it'll come with those loadouts, and then the Ju-88 will be expanded to have the same level of loadouts. In regards to the grenades and the shrapnel and the artillery, I don't know specifically regarding the grenades, but I can tell you is that if we have the documentation, it's modeled. I can tell you specifically regarding the artillery rounds, we have the appropriate number of pieces of shrapnel. In fact, was just reviewing some ballistic data from 1944 this past week and looked at some significant analog tables. I was surprised I could track down. But I think this is where, and you guys have, I'm intimately involved with the artillery part as a gamer, and I like it, that you'd be surprised as to how much artillery it takes to accomplish certain things. And I think that our perspective gets skewed because of our exposure to Hollywood and video games and things like that. I would reference it to our current in-game is that the cues you were seeing in the previous patch from the engine smoke that Corn just went over is that because your eyes are telling you this guy he's on fire, there's a complete, there's no way that tank should be alive. When in reality, the effect is, hey, that's only an engine fire and the crew's not cooking off yet. And so that's where you have that disconnect from what your eyes are seeing to what's actually happening. So yes, it's accurately modeled as the best that I'm aware of with the information that I have. I hope that answers your question.
All right, let me jump back in here. So I've got some guys on this truck now. You guys can still see the screen, right? Just making sure. Still seeing the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about, is the truck audio too loud? Is it like bleeding over my speech?
I can't even hear it.
Yeah, we have no audio from game.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. So look, our next major roadmap delivery, which is very significant, is proximity-based AOs. AOs are transitioning from the control of high command back to the players effective this patch. What this means is a group of organized players like us right now, and the parameter once again is 5. For this test purpose, we've actually dropped the parameter down to 2. But 5 players within the proximity of an enemy town, and there's being available AOs ready to go, means that you can get issued a town. So you can see here, we just got issued, see this heavy EWS? Proximity AO candidate. That means the system is going to be generating an attack objective for us to use without any involvement by the high command. So not only are squad missions coming back, so players can have better security over their missions, but now squads can effectively organize where it is that they want to go and deploy attacks. We believe this is fundamentally critical for players to play the game in a player-driven environment, which is what we're trying to do this whole time, without any entanglements or reliance on high command. So we have integrated voice comms, garrison supply, squad missions, and now proximity AOs. So we're going to sit here and watch as the system is going to be generating this AO for us. I better get them out of the way of AI because they're shooting at us. That was a new mistake. A squad these are not squad AOs, just to be clear. These are any group of players, at least 5 of them, organizing, getting within infantry EWS range, triggering heavy EWS, as denoted here on the tab of the label of the town. Any group of 5 players within 2 minutes will receive an available AO to be placed on this town. And then when EWS clears, then it will also pull that AO automatically after a period of time. So squads, we're trying to see the reformation of squads get back here and start building up and building the foundation of teamwork in World War II Online once again. But again, none of this requires any participation of high command involvement. This is going to radically change and improve gameplay for the better. And players, what's the point of being high command at this stage? High command is still, so there's the AO, it just got issued, right? And again, there's no HC proposal. As you can see here in the high command control panel, it's verified. Nobody initiated this. HC is still going to be valuable in terms of organizing players or moving brigade supply, movable units. But it does not mean the game's operation will be dependent on high command's involvement. So we're trying to pull these things away from HC and back to the players, not as a criticism, because again, too few people have held the line for too long, and we're very grateful for that. So it's not anything like that. It's just we need to make sure the game is player driven, that the players have control over what it is they want to do, etc. Once again, this is not squad AOs. This is any group of 5 players coming together within that EWS range, and if there's an available AO, to receive it through the mission. Now, you'll notice we require 5 people to initiate this AO. We require 5 people to get your squad mission. So our hope is, again, we are pushing squads right now, but any group of 5 players can reach this AO. Tex, I'm going to hand it to you. Looks like we got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to apologize. I had a brain cramp. I was typing quickly, and there is a difference between proximity AOs and squad missions. Sorry, I conflated the two, so my apologies on that. The squad missions has a minimum threshold of 5 players from your squad that are logged on. Proximity AOs are population based, so if you can mass your population to meet the threshold for an AO to be placed, then the AO will be placed by the system based upon that mass of players there. Now, what this really comes back to now is the continued support that the high command needs to provide the player base, and vice versa, is because the logistics, the supply of equipment still is paramount to this game. You can have all the players in the world, but all you have are rifles, you're not going to win.
So what happens is when the town goes dormant, let's say there's no EWS or it falls below, let's say there is some EWS, but it falls below the heavy EWS threshold, which again is going to be pushed to 5. If there's any more than 5 players within EWS range, whatever that is, and by the way, infantry also, EWS includes trucks, haulers, and anti-tank and anti-aircraft guns as well. All that stuff triggers infantry EWS trucks as well. I think I said that. But if it goes below to light EWS, the system will then start to trigger the removal of the AO automatically. If it goes 0 EWS, again, the system will remove that AO. So it's automatically placed and it's automatically removed unless, of course, the players, let's say one side captures the bunker, but then they lose control of the town, and you can bump the AO that way. Or if in fact you actually lose the town or take the town, the AO can lose that way. So all of the standard gameplay mechanics remain. It's just the initiation and then the removal of the AO. Yes, you will get warnings about when it's being placed and when it's being withdrawn. We're also going to be changing the total number of AOs available. And that we'll have more flexibility in that regard. So in lighter population, obviously, very light population, like if we just turn the server back on, you'll have 1 AO. But as it starts to creep up, you'll start to see 2 or 3 AOs available as well, because we want to provide a smooth transition between attack objectives. For example, if the players decide, hey, we don't want to attack here at Jodoin anymore, maybe we want to go to Tienen, we don't want that to cripple the movement of gameplay. We want it to actually continue and smoothly transition between them. Now, you'll get more understanding of this once it's out and live, but we wanted to just let you know that this is in testing. This is slated for this coming release, and it's going to radically change gameplay for the players to determine what it is they're going to be doing. So we highly encourage you to start thinking about building up your squads and trying to get more organized. High Command plays, hear me loud and clear. High Command plays zero role in the placement or removal of attack objectives at all, with the exception of bridge placed AOs, which I believe are still HCE plays. Yeah, so you can see here, High Command can still issue bridge objectives, but for town objectives, they play zero function. It cannot propose, veto, or anything. It's all player driven. High Command will have no ability to place AOs at all. It must be done by meeting this threshold. So get organized, guys. Remember, it doesn't have to be just one squad. It can be any group of 5 players. We want this to be a teamwork-driven game, and we're giving you guys, the players at large, the power to determine where the gameplay is actually going to take place. So, and right now we're just waiting for the tables to get hot here, and we'll show you capturing. Everything's going to be functioning the same in that regard. Texas, are there more questions you want to answer?
Well, there was a question in regards to large cities. And so what I'm just trying to encourage is that some people may not be aware of this, because this has been a fairly new mechanic, that some of these large cities that typically have been massive battles, not that they aren't massive, but for hours or days even, they're now actually your sub-cities. They're actually broken down into quarters. So you would have a southwest, a southeast, a northwest, a northeast. But so you have to capture each part of that city and then all of them to own the city.
Quinn Cannon just said this will mean that if you want HC to be able to help you at your AOs, you have to communicate with them from starting it. Communication is always been key to World War II Online. And it's going to be even more important now as this gets implemented. We can't stress that enough. Communication is going to be huge, more so than it ever has been.
Well, to be fair, the High Command at one point in our game's history did not have any control. In fact, there weren't even attack objectives at all. So, this isn't. We essentially kind of made a hybrid AO system, if you will, kind of like we learned. We're trying to take the best of both worlds. We don't want to have every single town on the front line open because that will be chaotic. And we don't want one guy to be able to walk in and start capping CPs randomly. So that's why we had a 5-person requirement. And it's all system driven. We still can control it based on the overall population availability, et cetera, et cetera. So we're definitely going to need squads to start focusing on. There's 2 major reasons now, among just as the several other that were already existing, is what I'm saying. There's 2 new major reasons why you need to start looking at building up your squads, and these 2 to 3 man squads aren't going to cut it. It's time to start building the squads back. And frankly, the game needs it really desperately. Lots of good questions coming across here. Feel free. I know that this might be like, whoa, but we put a lot of thought into this and have talked about it with players for a long time. This is definitely probably the most radical day-to-day kind of gameplay change.
Well, I also think too is that we need to absorb the information, I think, from the community standpoint. And then what we can do is that we can I'll start a thread in the general discussion so that our free-to-play players can also see it. And then asking questions regarding specifically to the rat chat. And then I'll try to monitor that and then direct, and then other rats can jump in to answer questions, whether they be on the production or development side or system side, so that we can, provide as much information as we can. Because granted, understand is like Corn mentioned, this is a new mechanic for us as well. Are there going to be some fine tuning? Absolutely. So just, give us that grace there, because we want what you want, is to make the game better.
So the system, again, the system will be responsible of placing and removing AOs, and it's all based on the heavy infantry EWS threshold. And that is on this map, all the town names, you see this little red guy here, this infantry, that's heavy EWS. And you need at least 5 people within this range of early warning system to trigger that. That could be trucks, haulers, anti-tank, anti-aircraft guns, etc. All those things, if they're within EWS range, are going to trigger it. So any group of players, regardless of squad affiliation, will do it. If the players get tired of this and they want to move somewhere else, they simply despawn, leave, and then the system will recognize the EWS threshold as not being met, and it will start a countdown timer for when that AO is going to be withdrawn. This means that if your squad is committed to this battle, a high command officer cannot come in and undercut that attack objective from you. So long as you're there and fighting, that AO will remain. The total number of AOs available will be associated with the underpopulated side's overall population availability. What that means is, unlike the old days where it just used to give you AOs of whatever the current server numbers are, we've made it so that it determines the number of AOs available based on how populated the underpop side is. And that helps us try to create a more balanced gameplay. What we're doing now is just trying to see the conclusion of this particular battle and answer more questions. Okay, so while that's going on, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch gears a little bit. And I'm going to talk to you about submachine guns. Tex, are we ready for that? Tex, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I wasn't aware that you needed my corpse somewhere. I'm sorry. What do I need to do to
No, I'm
support
asking
you?
if you want me to talk to the players about the recent changes.
Oh, I think that would be great. And let's go ahead and start off with the allied side. I think that would be appropriate.
I will start my stream up in just a moment. I want to show you. Give me just a moment to. Sorry, I'm doing this all live. So give me a second to get that operational. And we're going to talk to you guys right now about recent changes in submachine guns that are also slated for this release.
You know, I think my chat is moving pretty quickly, but Warthog, the air assets that we're going to be getting is the Wellington. And for those of you not aware that when 2.0 came online and has been since, I guess, 2015, 2016, we have not had the ability previously to create our own aircraft. The Ju-88 and the Wellington are our first two from ground up, from concept to implementation, our own custom built aircraft. Not a variant, a custom built. And that takes time for that skill set. And we're better for it. But that's a huge thing. And then, of course, the loadouts that go with that. These are great things for us. And so before we blow past, well, we need more planes, we need to take a minute and say, hey, that's a great effort by our team.
That's a good point. The truth is, we could be adding content until the end of time, and it is our goal to be here until the end of time. But we first have to make sure that the future of World War II Online is secure. And in order for us to do that, we have to innovate and get with the modern standards with regards to graphics, tools, and technology. And we have got to effectively prioritize our focus. It's very easy to get caught in the current grind and just want more for your day to day. And we're still going to provide content where we can. But we need to be completely honest. We have a mostly volunteer team spread across the world on a limited budget. And if we want 2.0 in the future of this game to exist beyond a couple years from now, we really need to be serious and move in that direction. And we can't have our cake and eat it too, so to speak. So when we're saying that, it's not to be harsh. It's to speak very plainly and very transparently that we want these things too, and we will get there. But first, we need to rebuild our ship. We have a hell of a ship, but she's out of date. We need to go from the old diesel, freaking submarines up to a a nuclear sub. I don't know, it's a bad example. Zoom said there's going to be submarines.
Well, if I can interject here, because it spins off to our conversation we had late last night, is that one of the things that makes our game so unique is that whether we have old content or new content, our sandbox of a game, everything is in the control in the hands of the player. Our game is not driven by, this piece of kit, that piece of kit. Yes, it's important. It's historical in the performance of it. We want that to be accurate. But the gameplay itself, our game plays so much better the more people. The more people are in it, the better it gets. Other games don't have that because you've played it. Well, you've got to hit this skill set. You got to get this badge. You've got to pay for this. That's not what we're about. We want you to enjoy the sandbox. And so the more people in our sandbox, the better it is. Talk to your friends, get them involved.
I'm almost ready for the demo here. Sorry about this. Okay.
By the way, we don't charge extra when the game gets rolling great. I mean, it just nobody can match with that. You're not going to have to upscale or, like I was watching the video yesterday about a guy who say how much more they're having to pay just to get the same features that they already have in game, but they're changing it so dramatically on another game. Again, there's been a huge tidal wave and negatively, or really a tsunami of bad stuff that are happening in World War II shooters. And we're continuing to stay the course because we love our community and we love this game. Okay, I think you're ready.
Okay, guys. go ahead and take a look at my screen here, if you don't mind. Chim, is this being displayed on the live stream?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I've got some important news to share with you with regards to submachine guns. Once again, this is going into this next upcoming update. I would ask, how many of you guys use submachine guns when you're playing World War II Online? I'm just going to assume there's a heck of a lot of you. All right. So what we did was we looked very carefully at our submachine guns and realized, you know what? The dispersion on these things are a little bit much. So I have right here the M1A1 Thompson. All submachine guns were basically their grouping is quite a bit tighter, which means they're going to be more lethal. And there's also some other things coming with it too. And I'm going to share more about that with you on the next one. So first, I'm going to give you a demonstration of our current submachine gun, the M1A1 Thompson, for example. I'm going to switch over to my other client after that and show you the difference with the new and improved version. And again, this is just the Allied example. We'll go into the German one as well. So give me just a second. I'm going to deploy some of these clones because we're going to shoot them. That'll be fun. One sec. By the way, you can deploy these clones by going into offline mode and hitting spacebar, and it will deploy a clone. You can totally mess them up just like that if you want. I don't know how many of you guys don't know that, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, so once again, this is the current M1A1 Thompson US variant inside of World War II Online. I'm in a standing position, and my objective here, I'm going to try and hit these targets as fast as I can from right to left. All right, here we go. Okay, not bad, not bad. And now from this position, I'm going to do a full auto burst, and then we're going to look at the round and dispersions on this. Here we go. So that's kind of the grouping right there. I'll give you guys a second to check that out. We are going to switch. Now, here's the funny part. You're seeing people already say this is more accurate. Just so you know, this is the current version. So this is what you're playing with right now. It's funny how that works, but okay. Got to use your ears. Here we go. We're going to move over to the next one. Okay, so this is the new one. Now, you see the total magazine availability? I haven't shot a single round. Some machine guns are losing 3 of their magazines. This is a bit more historically accurate. I'm going to hit number 2. Normally, that brings up your pistol. Submachine guns are also losing their pistol. This is for the primary submachine gun, not their specialty class. There's no evidence to support that standard submachine gunners were equipped with and issued pistols. Okay, so we're making them more lethal. We're making their group tighter at the cost of less ammo and losing your pistol. Everything else remains the same. Okay, so once again, we're going to go right to left, and then we'll do another grouping thing. This is the new M1A1 Thompson performance. And then again, we'll switch over to the probably the MP40 or the Modelo. I'm still deciding which one. Here we go. I missed one shot. So the M1A1 Thompson is effective in a pretty good shot from about obviously 0 to about 150 meters. If we look here at our ranging chart, so 2051, that's 2051. To get rid of these icons. And once again, I'm going to show you from a standing position. We'll check out this group. If you paid attention to the last group, we'll go back one more time and we'll look at the other one. But that's the current, that's the new grouping. That's the old grouping. Can you see the difference? This is the old one. That's the new one. Again, that's a 20-meter range. So once again, this is the M1A1 Thompson. All submachine guns are impacted to where they can perform substantially better, but it's coming at the cost of 3 less magazines and no pistol. If you can't see the difference, hashtag learn to shoot. Okay, so now we're going to jump over here. What do you guys want to see, the Modelo or the MP40?
40.
All right, MP40. Here we go. All right. So this is a current version. I'm going to walk them over here to our shooting range. Just setting things up. So the MP40 historically is effective up to about 150 to 200 meters. 200 meters, it gets kind of funky. It's not meant for long range firing. So what we're currently looking at is you can see by my magazine count, this is the current version. So again, right to left, and then we'll do a grouping. So here we go. Okay. Oddly enough, these ones who were up close range at the 20-meter mark was substantially harder to kill than the guys at the 50-meter range, which doesn't really make sense to me. But again, this is the old version. So again, here comes the grouping. All right, there's the grouping. Kind of all over the place, right? Okay, this is the new MP40. If you don't know, and you can YouTube this later, go look at whoever that Hitchcock guy is, 45. That dude he's not even shouldering the weapon, and he's got massive control of this. This is a 9mm, an extremely controllable weapon. It's not supposed to be doing that. So here we go. We got a bit more targets out, and then we'll do our grouping. This is the new one. That was odd. Okay, here we go. So it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better, especially up at the 20-meter range. Okay, here comes the grouping. Now, again, this is at 20 meters. Can you see the difference in the grouping? This is the new one. Let's go look at the old one again. All over the damn place. New one. So, obviously, the 9mm is a much more controllable weapon. The M1A1 Thompson was also a very heavy weapon. It could withstand quite a substantial amount of recoil. Some machine guns in World War II Online coming out in this is going to be substantially better effective this coming patch. The Sturmgewehr also did receive a bit of an update. We're going to take a look at that really quickly. So if you haven't fired a Sturmgewehr, where have you been? But basically, that thing has been firing like it's deployed on a bipod without a bipod. It's been very, very very accurate with almost no recoil. So the Sturmgewehr itself is a weapon of its own in its own class. It's a substantially fantastic weapon. In fact, looking at the data and talking with the guy who introduced it, the data shows. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. The data shows that it has a very similar. I don't want to say cartridge, but characteristics. The data performance is very similar to that of a 9mm. Obviously, it's not. It's a 7.92 Kurtz round, I believe. I'm not looking at it, so don't judge me if I'm a little off on that. But it's a very controllable weapon. But it's not supposed to be a laser. So I'm going to show you before and after. The Sturmgewehr does have a little bit more recoil, but it is still a highly efficient weapon. And I don't want the Germans to freak out. It's just going to give you a little bit more sensation of a recoil, so you can't hold down full auto and just smash everything in sight. And if you're an honest German player, you know that this thing needed something, because it's just a little more OP than it actually was in the war. Okay, so this is the current Sturmgewehr. Well, again, we're going to be standing right to left, all that stuff. Here we go. Didn't miss a shot really quick. All right, here comes the group. Yeah, so let's take a look at that grouping. I mean, that's pretty scary. Pretty scary. So here's the new one. Again, we didn't modify the ammo on this particular one. We're probably not going to. So here it goes, right to left, and then yeah. Didn't miss a shot, and at that range, it sure as hell shouldn't have. Let's take a look at the grouping now. Let's see what this one does. Now watch the recoil difference comparatively. Here we go. So at this range, it's going to be pretty effective. I'm going to push it out to 50 meters. We're going to compare them.
Hey, Ohm,
Hey,
you've got a hot mic, Ohm.
So this is what it was before. So again, our primary focus on this one was so that if you're going to hold down the trigger, you'd be more effective at doing bursts. So it's still extremely efficient. It should be. This is in a weapon class of its own. It is not to be compared to the Browning Assault automatic rifle, excuse me. This is an AR. It's the predecessor of all modern day weapons. It's just, you can't compare it. We're not going to nerf it to where it's not what it's supposed to be. But the recoil definitely was supposed to be a lot more improved than what was originally released. So I think right now that's about what I have to show. We do have all the other submachine guns. Let me say this. The MOS 38, it is firing tighter, but the animation, which I can't fix, is going to be a problem. That's the French submachine gun. It's a very controllable weapon historically. The recoil is going to suggest that it's not firing good, but if you actually look at the grouping, it is pretty good. So keep using that. We know that it shouldn't have that sort of impact on recoil, but that's an art thing, not an actual performance thing. So Allied players, do note that. Okay. Tex, I'm going to take a breather if you want to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Like I am Brutus mentioned in chat, is that the MOS 38 will be more accurate. It may still have that animation, but that accuracy is going to be there because previously it was, for a very accurate weapon, it wasn't represented very well. And as has been mentioned several times here, the ammo bearer or even the general rifleman that has an ammo pack, you guys ought to be teaming up. And if with you SMGs need to be teaming up with these rifle guys because they're going to keep you in the fight longer. So you could literally work as a team. Somebody can engage at a longer distance with the rifle, and then the close-in stuff would be taken care of by the SMG.
So yeah, we had some questions about, what about all the other small arms weapons? This is the beginning of evaluating those, and we'll continue to look around and see what we can do. But ultimately, these are the kind of changes we're talking about with regards to when we start moving our development team over to 2.0 and the porting of that. These are nimble, yet involved things that we can do and continue to provide content updates and improve gameplay. So this is what we're talking about in terms of not just the arts, but also what else can we do? How else can we improve the game? Obviously, proximity AOs are going to be massive too. And, one of the big things coming, and I'm just going to jump right into this, is we had some baseline checks, and we're going to switch gears entirely now. We're going to talk about players coming into World War II Online and perhaps the next large infusion of players and what we've had to do to try and prepare for that. So when we first released on Steam, which we are still in early access, we did so with the premise and understanding that, look, we have more work to be done. We have things that we need to do. Integrated voice comms was one, 64-bit was another, in giving control back to the players to determine the outcome of battles without any involvement from HC so that we can stabilize in-game operations and the flow of things. All these things need to be checked. So with that being said, we are looking at most likely a summertime full transition from early access on Steam to full release. Now, while that may not sound exciting on the surface, hear me out a little bit more. The last time we did a release on Steam when we first got on, it resulted into several hundred thousand accounts that joined World War II Online. We've made several changes since then to improve that. Again, we just covered some. We also made the UI slightly better through new join commands and all that. We've provided more training materials. We have online video tutorials. We also removed the requirement for training. And we've also stabilized and improved our process for people joining through Steam as well. So with that being stated, again, we're looking at a full Steam release coupled with partnering with some influencers who have helped us historically and who are helping us now to, join these live operations we've been having on a monthly or biweekly basis, depends on the month. So we're hoping, to set the stage for all that and bring a lot more players in World War II Online, because again, this 2.0 effort is going to be a multi-year endeavor. So we want to keep things busy and going. And frankly, we don't have any more reason at this stage until we get the 2.0 not to go full on Steam. And we've taken our time with that, not intentionally, but just to try and get things as right as we want. There is no rush. So that's that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, there was a question regarding some Navy, and I just said Navy love. Don't sleep on it. I don't know if you want to elaborate more on that or not.
Oh, I'd be happy to. I think I know what you're talking about, the STO.
That's affirmative.
Okay, guys. So we're talking Navy love. How many of you guys have used artillery in the last, since they've been released, the last couple months? How many of you guys used artillery? Anybody? There's a lot of nopes here, and I can see Texas soul is hurting right now. So if you haven't used artillery, you're missing out on something really cool, but also the motorized mortars. These are a couple of things. By the way, artillery is a day one deliverable that we did in, was it 2022? That's when it came out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so been a big year, and we know the quench of more cannot be, the thirst cannot be quenched for more but we're trying. We're doing our best, and I hope you guys continue to support us. So, Navy. Let's get back to Navy. If you've used artillery in World War II Online as of late, a similar concept is going to be brought to the Navy, and specifically on the 5-inch guns for the destroyers. We're going to provide server tracked objects for destroyers so that they can fire and start shelling towns inland. And that will be pretty massive. So that's what we got coming for the Navy. Server tracked rounds. You can be offshore firing in accurately into inland. So that's about what we can do at the moment for Navy. So I strongly encourage Navy guys and gals to start practicing with the artillery ASAP, because the similar concept is going to be utilized, if not directly, I think, isn't it, Corn? We're going to be using the same everything in terms of ranging and the round types and all that, right?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
There you go. Also, I'm pretty sure that Cardboard Man on the naval units have been updated too, so they're a little tiny bit better to look at.
Yeah, and I'm also doing some VFX work with the naval units as well, so they're getting some love.
Yeah, well, their shells hopefully are going to have a big, obvious kaboom.
Absolutely. Sea-based artillery.
Do we know offhand, and if not, that's okay, but do we know what the range is of those 5-inch guns? Like, how far can they fire in?
I would have to pull up the data on that. I don't have it on hand right now.
I want to say
6K.
6 to
yeah,
7,
that's
Say again, Ohm?
6 to 7K, depending on the angle.
Ohm is our in-house Navy guru. Al, I don't know how to answer this one. Quinn Cannon's asking if the Axis shore factories will become active to shell. Do you know if that will be the case in the coming updates?
Not up to me. I have no idea actually what causes that. Same as the damage to bridges, etc. So I would think so.
Damage to bridges requires an AO, but factories, as long as my understanding is, as long as they're in play and they're producing units, right? If they're activated,
Yeah, they
then
should be okay. Yeah,
damageable.
yeah, it should be able to.
We're going to say should be able to and call it good there, but don't hold us to it, because the people who implement that are not present today.
Delams goes and sneaks in and starts bombing factories, so I can imagine, yeah.
So,
you want to talk about those factories?
yeah, but it's also dependent on a particular object that we weren't sure we wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
All right, I'll spit it out. So there are a bunch of new factories that have been added to the map. Some of them not active at the moment, and that's been dependent on and waiting for the Wellington bomber. People have been asking about that. So listen, the Wellington has taken a substantial amount of time. When you talk about creating a ground up asset that is as involved and frankly as important as that, you got to do it right. A combination of doing it right and sometimes real life getting in the way has made that push out longer than we anticipated or desired. The good news is the flight model on the Wellington is complete. It is currently flying, but there are some final touch-up pieces that need doing. So the reason I mention that at all is because it's related to the question about factories. The Wellington's implementation was all about, how do we balance out the Allied forces so that they have something equivalent to, as close to anyways, equivalent as the Heinkel, the HE-111. And the Wellington fits that bill from Tier 0 onwards. So with that being said, upon the implementation of the Wellington into the game, the remainder of the factories will go active, and the RDP war across the board will be on a whole other ball game. We hope to see. I think it will be very balanced. That will also include Ju-88 loadouts that have been on standby pending the implementation of that aircraft as well. Corn, is there anything I missed on that that you wanted to cover since you're focused on it?
No, nothing further on the loadouts right now.
anything on the Wellington is what I'm referring to.
Oh, as far as Wellington, yeah, I mean, it's extremely close. I don't want to set invalid expectations, but the coin phrase of soon is probably longer than it'll take.
So there you go. We're doing what we can. We haven't lost sight of this priority. And as we transition resources into the porting of World War II Online, that does not mean we're not, putting that on the wayside. We know that that needs to be done, and we're going to be.
No, that's a big focus. That was a big focus right now.
Al, did you want to touch base at all on Sockeye just asked what are the new towns with factories? Where are they going to be? If you wanted to type it, that's cool too.
Geez, there's 9 of them. German factories. Harrington, that's up in the northeast. There's Meppel, which is southeast of that, has 1, so that's 2 of them. Hoogeveen has 2, which is just east of that. Sorry. Zwolle has another 2, which is just south of that. There's Lemberg. No, sorry. Frankfurt has another one. And yeah, I think Lemberg's got the other 2.
Yeah, Limburg's got a few.
Yeah, it's got 2 of them. That should add up to 9. So that'd be it. And then I've moved 2 of the French ones further southwest into Rouen East, which you guys should be basically getting to about now. Try those towns out.
And also the Brit, right?
No, we didn't adjust the Brits at all.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. You're right. I did. You're right. I did. I moved one from Whitstable to Sittingbourne, which is a few kilometers away from it. So that's the only thing I did with the UK ones. And I removed 1 from Amiens and 1 from Abbeville that went to Rouen.
And there's also a tie-in to the U.S.
Home should answer that, but I think yes, it's integrated. US doesn't have any factories.
Yeah, I just popped in the list in the Discord chat.
Hey,
Thanks, Om.
Tim and Tex, check your secure PMs, please.
Roger, I thought that, yeah, I've got multiple texts going off there. I've got family texting me. I thought it was you. So hang on. Let me catch up.
Guys, we're not too far away from shifting into the actual Q&A. We've kind of incorporated some of that into this discussion so far, but thanks for being patient. Chim, I wanted to ask you, how many people are currently watching on the live stream?
Right now we've got 21. It did peak up close to 30.
Okay, cool.
Check your return PM.
Corn, some of the players were asking, they had an express interest to see any work in progress shots of the Wellington. Given that it's airborne, are we safe to show it flying, or do you want to hold off on that?
Sure. I've got no issue with that. If you or Chim want to pull that up.
Oh, okay.
Or
Stand by. Oh, I can do it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Chim can't spawn in. He'll shoot it down.
Chim shoots everything down.
Yeah, I won't tell you my response on that, but I support Chim.
Give me a moment, community. I will get the Wellington going. I think this might be bad because I haven't flown it once because I'm tired of talking about it, really. But at this point, you just keep getting the community going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And you're just like, facepalm, oh, God. So give me a second.
It's the Wellington PTSD model.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You need the whole runway if you do a regular airfield map.
So you're saying I should float it?
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Just don't roll out of the hangar and try to go cross field and lift.
Who all wants to see Zoom fly horribly?
Is that a trick question?
Shut up!
Poor trees.
What's the name of his ship? Crash and Burn?
You see what I deal with, guys?
Zoom,
It's
zoom,
unbelievable.
zoom of the jungle.
Watch
What?
out for that.
Don't! Okay. All right.
Proof of life. We've got proof of life requests.
Once again, so can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, we got it.
I think I can.
So just so we're clear, this is the nose, by the way. I haven't put too much time in this model, and I will do my best to take it off. This is a work in progress. This does not necessarily reflect it being complete, okay? All right, all disclaimers complete.
Hey, because I love you, Zoom, I'm just going to let you know that bird is heavy. You are going to need some rollout and flaps.
Weapon, roger that.
Flapping Z.
Just a second. I'm going to bring it over here and get the rest of the runway. Hold on.
That AI pit in front of you. Old brakes, throttle up.
Come on, big girl.
I love the cockpit. You guys did a phenomenal job on
That's
that.
what she said.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Spruce Goose.
Oh my
The
God.
Yeah.
This is
Come
not-
on,
I've
Howard
never-
Hughes.
I haven't taken this off once, and I got a bad feeling about this.
Easy.
No, this plane responds just like the manual. You got to fly that tail until you get enough airspeed.
It's okay. I'm making a new runway. Screw it.
You got it.
Old Zeke said, yeah, use the
pull
full
back like you're
runway.
trying to grab donuts.
Spruce
Okay.
Goose.
We're airborne. First time taking off. All right. How much did I win for that? What were the bets at?
It do take a little acreage.
Guess I'll be moving some trees around some airfields, eh?
Where's that dozer when we need it?
Get them engineers an axe.
Oh, you get the AC 130 view.
Yeah, you should bring your flaps up, Zoom.
I like that tail gun though, man.
Okay, and so this is the rear. All right. What do you guys think? Worth the wait? Hurry the hell up and
Woot.
release it? All that? soon.
Look at JG Wentworth.
My Wellington, and I want it now.
That's right.
So how many loops to loop does it do?
Well, in good Zoom fashion, we have to take it low. Let's see how good it does on the deck.
You're not gonna like that.
Well, it's a dam buster. We got to think about. We got to talk about the dams too.
Well, damn! Now that you brought it up,
Damn
Yeah.
right.
This one's more of
We
a.
need to get some tracers in that other gun there. But remember, this is a work in progress. Okay, and now for something. Oh, that. Whoa! Ah! Okay, anyway.
yeah, that was a typical Zoom landing,
So,
right?
yeah.
The AI got you.
But did you die?
Now
Anyway.
you type jump.
Yeah, so that's not quite like I remember. But again, that was my first time flying that. Word of advice: don't do that. Anyway, so there's the Wellington. The flight model is complete. It's doing its thing. We noticed in the nose gunner it needs a tracer coming out of the left gun there. But there's little touch up things. That's why it's not released yet. But it's getting worked on, guys. So I hope that is encouraging and shows you that we're on it. We're not done with it, but it's getting there. It's almost there. All right, cool.
Hey, Zoom, do you want me to show my portion or do you want to wait till after?
No, absolutely. Go ahead. I need a break.
Pardon me.
Hey, I got
We
a
do
bail.
You got a bail on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Take
right.
care, brother.
So let me. Okay, are you guys able to see the screen?
Stream pause. Jim has minimized their application. Sit tight.
Really? Okay.
There you go. Or you have
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
Right. Just a second here.
Oh, don't feel bad, Jim. I had to friggin' reinstall Discord to get it to work.
No, I hit the wrong screen. Yeah, instead of application, you got to hit screen. Okay, let's try this again. Can you guys see it all right now? Looks like it. Yes?
Yep, looks good.
You betcha. Looks
Okay.
beautiful.
So, to preface this, we've. I wish Owen was here. Anyway, we've talked about, or it's been brought to our attention, and it's not anything new. We've known about it as far as people that are cheating in game, hackers, and stuff like that. So we have a dedicated GM team that are players in the game, players that are anonymous. And I'll tell you what, they do a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. And when you do see, or, when you submit a DOT report, you're not going to get a confirmation or anything about it. It just gets dealt with or investigated at a minimum by the GM team or the RATs. So with that in mind, we want the players to, even though our GM team is anonymous and we want to protect their identity, and but there's just been that issue of, is it being dealt with type thing or whatever. And so what we've done is, and I can't talk about the actual mechanics that go into this and what the criteria is for this, but we at CRS felt it was extremely important that you guys know what's happening if you do see this, and what you could do about it. So I'm going to play a video, and I'll talk a little bit as far as what's going on. This is in the current alpha, and this is something that's coming into this next patch. So as a GM, or as you could tell, I just set myself as a hacker. So if you see an infantry or a persona with that pink, specifically that pink text, if you see a person with that pink text, that's given you guys the power to have a little fun and give a little payback, if you know what I mean. When you see a player like this, they're unable to do any damage to anybody, and friendly fire is even turned on for them. So, yeah, if you like I said, if it's infantry, you're going to see 8 times the normal size of what what a normal player is.
I think there's some confusion. Can I jump in and help clarify?
By all means, yes.
All right, guys. So what Tim is showing you is the end result of what happens is when we find somebody who is attempting to or successfully finding a way to cheat the game, we now have this mechanism where it will make the user this ridiculously huge size infantryman that disables their ability to conduct any damage against anything, but also makes them available to be killed by any other player, friendly or foe. We're not going to talk into how this is done in terms of what triggers it or why or anything of that nature. That's for us. All we're saying is if somebody is like this, that's not good. Now, if they're an aircraft or a vehicle, they will have a pink tag on their name, and that also will identify the same thing. It will also remove their ability to kill, and it will also make them able to be killed by anything. If you see a guy like this in game, bad juju, kill that dude. Kill him repeatedly, because from his perspective, he will have no idea he is even in this configuration, this state. So if you see this, dude's hacking, kill the bastard, take pictures, whatever. He's a bad dude. Okay? That's what this means. This is the first time that CRS is going out of the way to help expose these people and put them on the spot so that you guys can see, look, we know who's who, and we're going to mess with them because no bueno.
So, pardon me. Yeah. So just like Zim was saying, they have no idea that they're that tall or that huge. So, yeah, it's once again, it's just a little extra something that that we at CRS wanted to give to you guys, a chance, a fighting chance, basically. So, yeah, that's definitely something really cool that's going to be coming out into this next patch. Not all the personas are going to be like this. If it's like a tank or a plane or something like that, once again, their tag will be in pink instead of whatever the colors that you have set on your game settings. It will always be pink. So, I don't know.
Good.
I really think we should have put the pink tutu on there, but that would have been pretty funny. But that was something internal, but without doing any extra modding and modeling and animations and stuff, it would have been just pretty bad. But yeah, it's definitely something really neat that that's coming into the next patch.
So the actual tag, you can close that all out, Jim. Thanks for showing that.
Okay.
The actual tag will be identifiable in that color on both sides, just so you all know. So it's not just your side seeing that; everybody is going to see that. So again, this is our effort to try and make you guys know that we're on the ball. You guys don't often hear about us talking about this, but this is our way of saying, hey, we're going to, for the first time, visibly demonstrate, these are the problems. Of course, we do kick and ban those folks too, but now this is more of a, hey, let's just mess with them a little bit and let the community know who they are so they can shut that down, because there's no better correction than the community and your peers.
Yep.
All right, cool. And again, just so you know, save your questions. We are not going to go into providing what hacks are being detected. Why? If you're asking these questions, I am concerned why you want these answers. We're not going to talk about it, so don't ask. But they will be, I will say that it's not triggering things falsely. And if there's confirmation behind anybody who is in that state. Okay. And yeah. I'll leave it
Vanapo asked about the corpse after they're dead. Their corpse will be the regular size, not the large size. And yeah, they just like Vanapo said, they won't be allowed to play for too long because they'll just get nailed. But even if you kill them and they respawn, they're going to be tagged. So it doesn't matter. I mean, before the GM or CRS or whomever bans them, they could keep respawning. They're not going to be able to do any damage. They're just going to be free kills. Pad your stats, guys.
Remember to shoot low because their actual avatar is still the 1 meter tall. Shoot low, kill them.
You'll get used to it. You'll figure out what to do, and it'll be hilarious. And that guy will have no idea what's going on, and it'll be great. Tex, is there anything you want to cover outside of that topic? Anything else that we need to share before the other announcement?
No, I think that you're clear for that, and then after you do this last announcement, then we'll roll it out to a Q&A, correct?
Yeah.
Roger. All right, it's in your hands.
Do me a favor, answer just a couple questions while I work to get this.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, there was some questions regarding additional towns. They have been answered there. When we launch this next patch, if you look at the README, they'll be more detailed. We do have 9 new Axis factories that are already in game but not activated, and we're waiting. We will continue to wait until the Wellington has been introduced. And once the Wellington is introduced, then each side will have the appropriate number of factories so that there's not, so it's an even workload, so to speak, to bomb those factories versus one side having to do additional work. It's spread out appropriately. No worries. Good to see family. Family's always important.
All right, I think I'm ready to go. Okay. So one of our big announcements today is, well, I'll set the stage. You've heard about the things that are coming into World War II Online pretty imminently. In fact, you've heard our transition over to Unreal and how it's going to require our absolute focus and all of that. So with that being said, today we are, let's see here. We'll get this going today. And as of right now, I just clicked the go button. We're launching the World War II Online fundraiser to help port over to Unreal Engine. And this is round 1. We're making these. I've got a nice video. It explains everything. Let me get you a link so you can watch it. Hold on. There you go. That's the link, worldwartoonline.com/fund. You should be able to see it. Watch the video. I could tell you all about it, but it's all there. It says everything. It's going to be about getting us set up for success to make the Unreal Engine port start picking up the pace. as well as talking about how we can set up success on our launch on Steam to do a full and successful launch while getting our influencers on board and deploying people into the game. World War II Online remains a 100% community funded game, of course. We do these for the purpose of giving you guys the opportunity to help us move at a faster pace. More and faster seems to be the ongoing statements. And in order for us to do that, we have to purchase the time and talent of people, as well as the hardware. In this case, there are a series of hardware upgrades because, guys, we're going in the future. Like, we have so much going on. Watch that video. It is fantastic. It helps outline exactly what's going on. And I don't have much to say on it beyond that. If you have questions, I think now is the appropriate time to switch over text, unless you want to talk about this. I mean, I already made the video, so I've done what I needed to do. So is there anything you want to share about the fundraiser itself, or?
No, I just, I think that without naming names, so to speak, if you've been aware of the fact that a lot of AAA World War II genre shooters have had some dramatic changes regarding to ownership as well as layoffs. And these are studios who have spent tens of millions of dollars developing their product or advancing their product. In today's platforms that we have the ability to crowdsource this to get an excessive bang for your buck, so to speak. If you enjoy this game and you think that this is something that you want to be a part of financially, we encourage you to do so. We understand that people are already subscribing. That's what keeps the lights on in our current levels of implementation. We are reaching in phase one. We're going to need, as Zoom said, not only more manpower, but also some additional technical and upgrades of equipment, of legacy equipment that our developers have been using. This is a direct, it's just like when you take medicine. This goes right into your bloodstream. This is what our game needs to continue to grow. And this is the first time in years that we're really getting to where we need to be. We're making that hard cutoff with our development team, pushing toward UE5. It is our goal to hopefully be able to see some things that, I don't want to put any dev team already has enough pressure on them, but we're going to be showing you things as in and when it's appropriate, so you can see the progress we're making that's demonstrable. And so we hope that you'll support the project. It's needed. I know a lot of people are passionate about this. When we think about the monies that we spend in other areas, this is a good bet. And this is a huge project, but this is a good bet to be able to see something, because when this gets done, it's going to change the gaming world. Nobody will have. This is what companies are spending tens of millions of dollars on doing, and we're going to get it done. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on my soapbox too long.
Well, I think it's important. I think it's cool. Chim, is there anything you want to add to it?
Well, we all know there's some in our community that say everything's fine, it should be the way it is, blah, blah, blah. I would say 80% or so, at least from the last polls that we pushed out, over 80% said, hey, we do need to go to Unreal Engine. And we, just seeing the progress that we've gone so far, just looking at these images, the Betty, what's currently in game, what's currently being worked on for an upgrade to our current game, and then the Unreal Engine 2 version, it's huge. It is a game changer. Visuals is a big thing, and the engine that we're on, it limits us in a lot of ways. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I get to kind of see and hear some of the progress that's already been taken on, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. but these, we've got so much to do. There's so much to do, that from dev and from production, and it is going to take time, but the support that we're asking for at this point is necessary. It's not a cash grab type thing. We've, typically we do these fundraisers pretty much every year, whether it's, hey, we're needing a new server, or we're needing this, or paying for licenses and whatnot. This one is important. This one is big. And we definitely need everybody's support on this.
Yeah, it's the starting point. We're if you look around, we're trying to do the right thing and making this a bit more consumable. So this doesn't mean that, okay, by donating to this one, that, okay, Unreal is just going to happen. It's going to take a few of these, to put it lightly. But this is a starting point. This is, hey, we've got people who, like it says here, I'll address some of the key points. We have to upgrade our developer machines. We have to prepare the collaboration environment. We need a new centralized PC to do builds internally. We've got to repair a bunch of character animations and things regarding choke point, because that is, again, World War II Online's future of infantry. It's going to allow us to invest in other developers as well as artists and whatnot. It's going to help us get influencers to help expand the message of our Steam release, and so on. So anyway, one of the things that have been talked about almost in a joking matter is, hey, is Zoom going to go buy that new car or that new house or that da-da-da-da-da? No. In fact, I was just doing an interview recently, and they kind of talked about that, where are these funds going? Every fund that comes in through these fundraisers are utilized specifically for the purpose of the outlined goals. They're not going in other places, and certainly not my pocket. So I want that to be clear. Additionally, we've been able to make serious headway, and I talked about this a little bit in the video, that unlike some of these other companies now, we don't have investors. We don't have other people in the corporation that could potentially cause some issues. I'm it. And I've been here for 20 plus years, along with several of these guys and you guys too in the community. We're it. So we have total control over how these funds are deployed. We have the passion and the heart to see this thing through. And that is our goal. That's what we're trying to do. And while unfortunately, these other people in our genre are struggling, or their businesses are either selling out or giving up or selling, whatever the circumstances are, we've created, and our team has worked hard to shield our community from any potential blowback or wrongdoing or fear of shutdown. So, but we can't do these things without your support, period. So I'll be here in the trenches with you guys. I'll be behind the line and doing my part to help in every way that I can, because, I'll be honest, this is my life. This is what I do. This is what I wake up, I go to sleep thinking about how we can improve this place. And I'm surrounded by a wonderful team and community to help see that through. So watch that video. I articulate the words as best as I can. It's much better than what I'm doing right now, but it's all true. So I think at this point I think we need to start answering some customer questions, because we're 2 hours deep on this. And
Okay.
I thank you everybody for listening and all your patience. Let's get into your questions.
There was just the FYI is that to include what Whiskey Sam is saying there, I will tell you is that on the 17th of March, they laid off folks on the development team. So just FYI, things are changing. And that's what Zoom was mentioning about earlier. All the big AAA shooters, there's just been a unexpected tsunami shift that none of us could have predicted. And that's why we're fortunate, because of our business model has allowed us that grace to continue to grind away and to put us in this position. Otherwise, this game would have become abandonware, despite all of its potential. There's so many games out there who had potential. we're now beginning to realize some of that potential and have gotten to the point where now we're going to see even more potential in the things that we can do. So just to let you know in respect to that. Sorry, my screen is just flying right now.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. You know, such a great opportunity. World War II Online is really catching some. I don't want to say steam and reference steam, but you know, I would say that people are checking us out, giving us another look, and especially as we've outlined these plans that are bold but doable. And you know, we're poised to do the job. We've got the host architecture, we've got the blueprint in terms of what a functional game. We've been doing it for years. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential. So let's, if we can, either we can answer their questions direct, or we can actually bring folks in to ask some questions by voice as well at your discretion, Tex, if we want to do that. Do we know how to teach people how to raise their hand and all that?
Well, I think if we get that, I mean, it'll just be, I just think in the expedience of time, folks, we just can't answer them all. We're going to have to pick and choose. You know, I would just say this platform here is about our future. If you have particular concerns regarding past changes or whatever like that, I would ask, this is not the format. And so we appreciate your participation, but that's not to be a question we're going to be addressing today. We're not going to be locking either side. There's a question here regarding side disparities. We're not going to be at this time where that is not something that we're considering in regards to population. It just really is that, to go back to the earlier point, our gameplay scales significantly better the more people that we can get in. And this refers back to involvement with some of our, I don't say our because they're not monetarily compensated, but Zoom just referenced that people in YouTube influencers are paying attention to our game through Choke Point and then also through our operations. And you've been seeing some of that through either Boogie 5, which is a YouTube channel that's growing. And that's just someone who just saw our game and just started making some comments about it. And then also there's a gaming syndicate called BR1, which is a subscription-based server platform. They've expressed some interest in our game, and so you may have seen them in the last operation. People are paying attention because they've never heard of our game because our game has been around so long, but doesn't have a lot of media clout in respect to some of the mainstream channels. So you're seeing some of that benefit, and our internal metrics are going up. And that may be contrary to what you're hearing on Discord or on Facebook or amongst your squad mates, but I can tell you our future is brighter today than it was 6 months ago. Despite what you may be experiencing either in-game or through other communication channels, our game has a future and it's getting brighter. Come join us.
There's always going to be something to nitpick, especially if you've been around long enough. There's always going to be that, what about this? What about that? I hear you. In my video, I articulate, look, we got a lot of room for improvement in a lot of areas. But we got to get past all that. We have got to get moving into the future. And that's why I was careful to say during this rat chat, we have to table some standard expectations, like what a normal rat chat is. What about this? What about that? What about this? It's like that old Kennedy line with, don't ask what your game can do for you, but what can you do for your game? And I know that sounds really goofy, but it's the truth. And it's the decision that we have to make every single day when we show up at CRS. Like, what can we do to help the game and the community? We need to really get evangelized as a whole team. And that team is the community body and the developer body. There's a symbiotic relationship there where we are truly one. We can't focus and get things done without the other. So I just want you guys to know that your subscriptions and efforts placed towards these fundraisers and just the general playing of the game and raising awareness, all these things are the fuel that keeps us going. And they're the people that you're supporting are deeply passionate and rooted into the overall community. I mean, they're not random people. Everybody in this room that you see at the top here was a community member first. You can't really find that in other games. So once again, the fundraiser's there. Please support us in that regard. Keep your subscriptions up if you can. That would be great. I've seen some chatter from a particular member in here, and he shares the same opinion of others. And I want to address it because I have talked about it on several occasions, and that was the pricing. We voluntarily made the decision to drop our pricing in an effort to get an increased number of folks into World War II Online. We did that voluntarily. There was no reason for us to do it beyond saying, let's try and do the right thing and get folks to show up and support us. Why? Because the masses suggested that would help. And we figured, hey, our price is a little bit much. I understand. The problem is when we did that, we saw a huge slide in folks not just signing up, but we saw folks going for the lesser price point, which, how can you argue that? From a consumer point of view, it makes complete sense. I get it. And what wasn't necessarily fully on the table, and what the major difference is now, is that we're talking about now investing in the future. We're not talking about just keeping things as they are. If we were just talking about keeping things as they are, I would understand that. And it's also understood that your subscriptions are voluntarily provided. And for that matter, appreciated in the sole reason we are here. So when we had to make the tough call after several sleepless nights on my end and perhaps others, the call was made to elevate that price back to where it was, which we said in the first place that if the subscription slide, we would have to do that. That is the sole reason why we're here today talking about being able to go onto the Unreal Engine. If we kept things as they were, we would not be in a financial position to invest in the areas outside of these fundraisers that we would need to. We did not see an increase overall in the volume that we were expecting. The truth is, not only was the call for $9.99 wrong with people saying, hey, we'll get more people here, I was wrong in that making that decision, and I fully own and accept that, as well as the difficult decision to say, hey, we have to go back. But that is the only demonstrable evidence that has got us to this point. Take this to the bank, literally. We cannot discount our way to success. That's a very hard lesson to learn, but that's what happened. I hope this explanation goes to serve you better to understand and to let you know that that was not easy, nor was it desirable. We tried to do the right thing with no other pressure. We just tried to do it correctly, voluntarily. And it worked out horribly for us. So if you're somebody who had a subscription at a lower rate and it got jacked up, I'm sorry, truly. But to keep the game online, I had to make that decision. To keep it online and to be able to invest in the future, that's where we were at. I felt compelled to share that with you today because it's time to move on from that. And if you don't, if we have some folks who are upset, I understand. It sucks. I didn't want to do it. But if you care about the game and want to see it continue, good feels and a discounted rate isn't going to do it. And World War II Online is not necessarily comparable to other MMOs. We can't discount our way to success. And you're not just paying your subscription to keep things as is. You're paying now to help support its future innovation. And that is just what we got to do. So there we go. Tex,
Thanks,
I don't know if
Sue.
you want to talk on that. That's a very sensitive and shitty topic for me to talk about, but I wanted to
I know.
at least get it out there. And these guys don't know the anxiety things that I've been dealing with, but that's okay.
Right. I mean, when you consider the fact that, I mean, we can appreciate the only reason we're here is because of you.
Ooh,
And
I don't
so,
know about that.
well, what I mean is that our
Community.
subscribers.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah,
I meant, I didn't mean you. I meant our subscribers. Don't take that the wrong way, but you know what I'm saying. And so, we appreciate every one of you, whether you're a current subscriber or not. We appreciate your previous success, your support financially. The only way that we get to where everyone wants to go is by having our continued financial support. That's it. So, I think that you put a button on it, and I think that we're okay with that. Capone, just real briefly, Navy is going to get STO rounds on their destroyers, so that answers that pretty quickly. No more animals until I get a smoker at the CRS HQ TR6 Al. That's all I'm just saying.
I'm working on it.
If we can, we have a few other team members who are here who have not yet had an opportunity to speak.
Absolutely, I'll be quiet.
I've been calling you guys, Old Zeke and James 10 and Brutus and Tier. If there's anything you guys wanted to share with the community, please feel free. Zeke, you got anything for him?
Not really, except that we truly do appreciate our player base. We have a very unique player base. It's I think we're more of a family than other games, and that means a lot. When you've got people that, for in my case, that you've played alongside of for over 20 years, even if you never meet them, that they become close friends. And I've had to help put a few of them on the memorial plaque, and that's tough. But that goes a lot toward saying just what this game is. We are a community first, and we do appreciate all of our players.
James 10, you got anything? Can't hear you. Oh, while James 10 is working that out, let me switch over to Brutus and then Tier, get ready. I'm Brutus. You're currently muted. You have anything you want to add? All right, 0 for 2. Sweet. Tier, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. First of all, I'd like to say I really like the showing of everyone out here. It's really great to see all of your support. As for what I really want to say, I don't have much to say on it, but I am excited to see what is coming in the near future.
Cool. All right. Well, Tex, what more would you like to do here? Do we have more question to answer? Because I'm getting pretty gassed at this stage.
No, I'm trying to catch up here. I've been answering some PMs wise as well. Yeah, just to let you guys know is that free-to-play players, if you really want to help the game just and not have to do much, is if you see a green tag and you really want to light their imagination on fire, get them to multi-crew with you. They may not have a joystick. If you put them in the back seat of your 110 or a JU-88 or even the Wellington, that even if they mess up your bomb run, that gives them a perspective on this game and it allows them access to equipment so that they don't typically have because they're a free-to-play player. That's a great way to be an ambassador to how great our game is, to not only you and the community, but to potentially help the game in its development. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I'm sorry. I've got 65 new messages here. I'm working on it.
I want to say that this last Operation Flash. Oh my God, guys, that was epic. That was epic. Just bare knuckle brawl towards the end. I've had so many comments about that Operation Flash, and that's that World War II online moment, and we've all had that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here for as long as we have. We have huge potential, huge, and a lot of new players were exposed to that during that operation. So I appreciate everybody that was there. And yes, we do have an operation coming up. It's called Operation Download More RAM. So that's going to be coming up next month. So these operations do bring in a lot of new players and stuff, and man, they're just getting better and better. Reach out to those new players, help them out, and that because they do get that moment that we've all had, and yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. And I always miss the chance of shooting you Left Waffle guys down because I'm always streaming it. But I don't know. One of these days, I'll get somebody to stream it for me.
Okay, we got 2 more minutes here before we close out. So any last questions here? We'll get those answers as best we can, and then we're going to call it a wrap.
Yeah, there's no real questions on the stream. I think most everybody is inside the Discord here.
Okay, Zoom, can you repost that link in the chat? Thank you, sir. There's your upgraded link there. Now, now understand, guys, when we are talking about an operation, that is a live server event. So for us to coordinate a particular thing, these are all unscripted. And that's really what makes our game so great is there's not a script. If we did something that was like a very particular geographic or equipment based, that would be an event which we would have to do on the training server. So literally we would pause the live server for X amount of time and then move over to and transition into the training server, so they would be able to participate there. So that's the difference between those two. And if there's an interest in doing that kind of stuff, then we can certainly look at it. Okay, well, while I've got you guys here before we go, I would like to, I don't know if Propa is still here or not, but I would like to give a shout out to his artwork. I know he kind of is an adjunct to the marketing team there, but he provides such a great eye and does some great things for us, allowing us to have the poster art for our operations. He does that, has been doing that for many, many years. And so just wanted to say thank you. If you see him in game or on the forums or Discord, please thank him, because it's just great to have somebody who has that skill set there. And of course, we've got some great streamers inside the marketing team and business team. And I think that Yifabone and Van Appo do a great job. We've got some other new folks here that are coming online as well. And then Jim overall just does just so many things, wears so many hats for our team and our organization. Not enough things get said about the efforts that he does, which are so behind the scenes and unsung. So Jim, thank you for all that you do, sir.
Yeah, no problem. I do want to give a shout out to the senior HC members. We do meet with them on a weekly basis, and we have sometimes some heated discussions. And there's some of the stuff that's coming out in this patch is actually derived from those conversations in those senior HC communications that we have on a weekly basis. So it's just proof that, we do listen. We're all players. Come on now. Everybody here is, even us rats and stuff, we're players from the beginning. I think we have 2 or 3 rats that were here from the very beginning, but it's hearing the concerns on a weekly basis, led to some of the fixes that are being implemented in this upcoming patch. So I want to give a shout out to those senior HC officers and the CNCs. It's always a great conversation with them, and I really look forward to that meeting because it they bring to light some of the stuff that we may not see on that's going on in game or something like that. So kudos to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, and without high command, I mean that rugged group of a very small number of individuals have really carried the load, and so we appreciate it all what those command staffs are doing, both sides. Okay, there's a question on IVC, but we've kind of resolved that issue. There's one element that we're working on that hasn't been rolled out yet, but that server has been pretty consistent now that we've kind of identified a certain thing there. So I'm not aware of any continued daily issues with IVCs. Anybody else got any different information?
3D voice chat continues to be a thing, but outside of that, the others should be okay.
Right. That's not been rolled out yet to the community yet. So, okay.
Did we want to make, speaking of IVC, did we want to make mention of what's coming in?
I don't know what you're talking about at the moment. My brain is fried.
Okay.
I'm hurting there, boss.
Well, all right. I'll do it. You can read me later if I'm out of place. But one thing that's going to be there are some fixes that are coming into IVC, but there is one thing that's going to be added as well is the personal chat, making a personal chat in IVC. So that will also be added in as well in this coming patch.
Oh, a custom channel, that thing?
Yeah.
And that's like, is that direct between users or is that the channel?
I think that's between users.
Zeke, you want to confirm that?
I think it's numbers 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what we tested, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So like if it's channel 20 or channel 55 or whatever.
But it's 1 through 10.
Oh, what? Oh, just 1 through 10. Gotcha.
Now I may be mistaken on the number, but it's numbers. I don't think you can put someone's name in the.
Oh, that's right. I think it is just channels 1 through 10. So you could specify a specific channel 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10, and then whoever's on that. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that would be useful for the purpose of like if you have an in-game operation that you want it to keep everybody on the same comms regardless of what screen you're on. That would be a good use case for that.
Right, and it may be more channels than that. To be honest with you, after 3 alphas and I think either 70 or 80 tickets that we went through 3 times, and some of them involved a lot of time and testing. Without going back through the tickets, I don't exactly remember. Not that I'm getting old or nothing.
You're just getting better.
That's it.
Lord, I hope so. I can't get much worse.
I have a little faith in yourself, man. Damn. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and cancel the live stuff.